how sometimes you know the right thing to do? You even know what steps you might need to take first. You might have said it to other people or even taught it yourself or lived it, but somehow you just don't. There's always a reason, right? There's always something that makes you say, now's not the right time, or I can't do that right now. So today I want to talk about this, about the myth of the right time. So when I was pregnant with my second baby, I truly thought and knew this time is going to be so different because of all of the things that I know now. I thought, hoping maybe she would be a better feeder. I thought maybe she'll inherit my husband's mouth, his palate, right? So his mouth is really perfect, no ties. Maybe she wouldn't even have ties, right? And honestly, I felt like it was in the best possible position to help her, right? Even if she did, because I specialize in this, right? And, you know, I know what to look for, I know what to do, how to prevent all of the mistakes that I had made the first time. So, with my first baby, I really had to piece everything together myself. It was out of order, it was trial and error, lots of frustration, but eventually I figured it out and I actually built a whole business around it. This time, I was like very confident. Like, I totally have this. Who better than to handle this problem, right? But knowing what to do and doing it, I realized are two very different things, right? So, of course, she was born and she had a pretty significant lip tie and a tongue tie. It wasn't quite as bad as my son's, though, right? And that is a little bit of key here because I used that as an excuse, right? But I had lots of excuses. When it came time to do the post release stretches, that's all I had were excuses of why I couldn't do those, right? So excuses for me, like my hands aren't clean right now, my nails are too long, or I'll do it after the next feed or after I shower. And then I had plenty of excuses for her as well. Like she just woke up, she finally calmed down, or she just fell asleep. I can't wake her up now. And each time I told myself these little lies to make it okay, to push it off and procrastinate. Like, it's not as bad as my son's tie was, right? Or her tongue gets to the roof of her mouth just fine. So it's probably okay if I skip a few stretches. I convinced myself that it was good enough, right? So if you've ever felt that, I think it's good enough. They're eating good enough, right? But I knew the truth. If I did those stretches once a day, I was lucky. And deep down, I knew better. I knew way better. I knew that that wasn't good and I wasn't doing the right thing. But it didn't hit me until this moment, right? One day, my mom came over to watch her so I could take my son to a party. And when I got home, my mom looked at me. The baby was screaming. I heard her from outside the house. She cried for the last 25 minutes, my mom said. She wouldn't take the bottle. She just gagged and she cried. And my heart just sank. I just felt like the worst mom. And still, I made excuses even then. Oh, she knows it's not me. She'll only eat for me. It's because you were trying to feed her. But the next day, I tried the bottle myself, gagging, gagging again, wouldn't take it. It didn't matter who fed her. She was gagging on the bottle, on the nipple, right? Just like she was on the pacifiers that I tried to also brush off as, well, she's not a pacifier girl. It's okay. She doesn't need them anyway. It's better for her to not have a pacifier, actually. But this was my oh shit moment. So I don't know if you've ever had an oh shit moment like this, but this is my moment when I hit that threshold, the gut punch, right? Where I realized she's struggling because I wasn't doing my job, because I wasn't doing what I knew she needed. All the things that I tell parents to do, I hadn't even been doing myself. So, of course, and my husband's so great. He tried to make me feel better. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. You're just being mom. You have to be mom. You can't be mom and therapist. She's okay. She's gaining weight, right? And yes, she was gaining weight, plenty of weight. Breastfeeding wasn't painful like it was last time. Everything looked quote unquote fine on the surface. But since when do I wait for things to be really bad before I make them better? Almost never. So I really honestly sat with this. I asked myself, what is going on here? Why am I not doing something that I know is important? Why am I not motivated this time? It didn't even make sense logically in my mind why I wasn't doing this. I was so quick to jump in with my son. I literally spent thousands of dollars taking courses, researching, taking him to different professionals, right? He went to PT, he went to chiropractor, he went to the tongue tie release provider. I did oral motor therapy. I mean, I did everything, not to mention all the courses. Um, and now, with all the knowledge and the confidence in the world, I can't even do the basics. Talk about feeling a little bit like a failure, right? So, at least I maintained my curiosity, which is why I'm here talking to you today. What I learned from this experience, because there is always something to learn. And that was one of the first questions I asked myself. Okay, I didn't get the lesson the first time. What is the lesson in this? What do I need to learn from this to succeed and move forward? So, this curiosity led me down a little rabbit hole that I'm sure at some point a lot of my clients have also gone down. It might even start with guilt, like mine did. But if you stay there long enough, it does turn into understanding. So, what I realized, or the psychology of avoidance, right? Because that's what I was doing. I was avoiding doing this with her. I realized a few things for me, anyway. First, I get a dopamine hit when I'm learning something new. Every time I discovered a new technique or a new professional, it felt exciting. Every tool, every technique and strategy was fresh. It was full of hope. And I thrive on learning. It lights me up, right? So that newness wasn't there, right? It was routine. It was predictable. I already knew what to do. So that thrill, that urgency wasn't there like it was the first time. Second thing I realized, I didn't feel the urgency because truthfully, it didn't feel urgent. Nothing was hurting. Breastfeeding wasn't painful. She was gaining weight beautifully. She was in the 95th percentile. You're going to tell me that that sounds like a red flag to most people that she's having trouble eating, right? It doesn't, right? And I didn't really care, to be honest, that no one else could feed her because I love breastfeeding and I was pretty unapologetic about it. So there was no pain, so there was no pressure to change. And I bet this is something that you feel. If there is not enough of a pain presence, doesn't have to be physical pain, but enough of something uncomfortable, um, there's not going to be that pressure to change. So that's really important and key here. And the third thing, I was actually avoiding discomfort. I knew that the stretches could make her fuss. They could be unpleasant for both of us. I didn't want to make her cry, right? And somewhere deep down, I was protecting myself from the discomfort. I knew that there was possibly something in my future. So if I was going to take this action, I might cause myself some discomfort here. So avoidance can wear a lot of different costumes, like logic, timing, reason, guilt. But underneath, it's really what I learned, our nervous system saying, pump the brakes. This feels like too much. Let's not get overwhelmed. Let's not do that right now. So this threshold, that too much eventually is going to hit a threshold. That oh shit moment that I had when the cost of staying the same finally outweighs the discomfort of the change. And that's what happened to me when I watched her gag. That was my threshold. And within an hour, I found myself doing the little things again, cleaning tools, getting back to basics, doing some really gentle, easy co-regulation things that I knew were not going to make her fuss or rock the boat, setting her up for success. Honestly, I didn't overhaul everything. I just started really small. And small was enough for me to start building some momentum. Because once I understood also why I was stuck, like that curiosity behind the what's going on here. It's not that I was lazy. It's not that I was careless. My nervous system was trying to protect me. It didn't want me to feel overwhelmed. It didn't want me to feel stressed, right? And as a new mom, you're of course overwhelmed and stressed anyway. And this really made me I feel like this is what a lot of my parents experience too. They know what to do. They care deeply, right? I'm sure that's you. You know what to do. If you're listening to this podcast, you've heard a lot of the strategies. So you know what to do. And you certainly care deeply. Otherwise, you wouldn't be trying to listen to this, researching, trying to help your child. But I know that you're tired and you're overwhelmed, and your nervous system is waiting for the right time, right? Parents might say, we'll start after school ends, or once the holidays are over, or when life settles down. But life never is settling down. So there is no perfect time. There's only a safe time. And our job, I would say, as parents and professionals, is we have to create those little safe moments where progress can happen, even if it's really small, tiny baby steps. So, if you're listening to this and realizing that you've been avoiding something, maybe it's not even related to feeding, maybe it's oral motor work, maybe it's new foods, maybe it's paperwork. But I want you to know you're not being lazy, you're not failing, you're protecting yourself from overwhelm. And actually, it's your nervous system and your subconscious brain protecting yourself from overwhelm. But unfortunately, your subconscious and your nervous system will keep you in that safe cocoon, waiting forever. But we have to still move past that. We have to shift into doing, even if it's just one step at a time. So start small, start imperfect, start before it feels like the right time, because the time is not coming. We have to create it, right? And we can give ourselves some grace, but I think if we can recognize, wait, is that true, or is that me making an excuse because I'm protecting myself from discomfort or overwhelm? To me, that awareness is really key in how we can move forward and how we can make progress, because we all have these goals. We all have these things that we want to accomplish, to fix, to help. And we just can't do that because our nervous system is always going to keep us small, keep us safe, right? It's what it was literally biologically designed to do. And, you know, there's really not like, I would say, like one thing that I could tell you to make this easier. Um, you know, it's just these different mechanisms in our brain that have over time evolved to protect us in so many ways, right? Like that loss aversion, right? So I learned some more like technical terms, that loss aversion. So we might fear immediate loss, like, you know, losing some peace or calm more than a future gain, like progress, right? So you might fear losing some peace in your evenings because you now have this stressor of trying to fix meal times, right? So that can lead you to avoid. Or, like I said before, that anticipatory stress. Your brain pre feels that discomfort of the task. and it avoids it to conserve energy, to it can make you not feel overwhelmed. Um, and that cognitive dissonance, right? So, which is the excuses reduce the tension between knowing what's right and not doing it. They temporarily restore inner harmony, right? So it makes sense that there are so many reasonable explanations to delay doing something about our kids eating, or maybe it's even a different problem. But we're just remember, it's our brain saying it's not safe right now, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good time. So if you can kind of separate those out and look at it a little bit more from like a wider view lens, like zoom out a little bit and see kind of the whole picture of what's been happening and why maybe we did or didn't take action, that might really help you, because it did help me. So I do hope the story that I've shared with you today can help you, move forward or release some of the guilt that maybe you may have been feeling. If it's anything like my guilt, it did help me. For me, always understanding the why is somewhat helpful. So I hope that you understand now a little bit more about how our psychology influences our motivation, and how even a very experienced and specialized, therapist can struggle helping their own child with something that they help others with. So, and it's not to say, oh, well, see, that's why you should have gone to somebody else to help you with your problem. You're too close to it, your mom. But that's not true. Because as soon as I started to dive back in and take these small steps, things came pretty easy. And it really wasn't that I was mom and I was too close to it. It was really those other things, those avoidance behaviors. That my brain was trying to protect me from, because parents can and need to be able to follow through with these things at home anyway, right? These exercises don't happen just 30 minutes in some therapist's office. That's what we always talk about. That's why we teach parents to do all of the things, because you need to know how to do them for all of the meals. So I just needed to take a step back and realize what I was doing, what my brain was doing, to protect me. And, now we've moved forward, and I'm really excited to get her to that next chapter in her life where she's going to be trying foods. And I'm really looking forward to that now. Instead of the dread of, oh my gosh, she's going to struggle so much with this. I'm more on the positive side now, because we have started to take some great actions. So hopefully this episode was helpful to you. I really hope so. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to How to Unpicky Your Picky Eater. To learn more about achieving your child's feeding goals, check out Christine's website at foodologyfeeding.com. And be sure to tune in next time to How to Unpicky Your Picky Eater.